It lifts your life to its highest level. It brings success, companionship, happiness, health, and peace of mind. As you tap into this power, it will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. Welcome to another fantastic episode. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns, and I teach practical spirituality according to the New Thought tradition. New Thought teaches that there's one ultimate presence and power in the universe that seeks to express in you, through you, and as you. We teach that your thoughts, coupled with your feelings and belief, will draw and attract people, circumstances, and events into your life experience. And in order to support the thoughts of New Thought, we bring authors, teachers worldwide that will teach you practical spirituality. One of them I want to shout out to, and that is my friend Galen McDowell. If you check out unity.fm, you can see he has a show every Wednesday, and it's just a terrific show. There's so many people out there doing this work that you can check out by going to Unity FM, and also at the end of the show we roll some credits where you can check out more work. In the meantime, please like us on Facebook, on Spirituality Rocks. We have a group and a page so that you can learn more about the work and that we're doing. Our intention is to ignite your inner power, expand your consciousness, and to inspire you to uncover and express your divine nature in a greater and greater way. Toward that end today, I have a very fascinating guest, a unique guest. He's written a gazillion books, and his resume and his credentials reads like a who's who in the New Thought field, in the field of practical spirituality, in the field of conscious awakening. His name is Arjuna Ardagh, and Arjuna Ardagh has written many, many books. The most recent one is this book that's called Better Than Sex. That's right, you heard the title correctly, Better Than Sex. I would like to welcome to Spirituality Rocks, Arjuna Ardagh. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be with you.
And it's wonderful to have you. Wow, so you were bold enough to write a book entitled Better Than Sex. And, I read in the beginning of the book, and I wonder how many people just leave out the word then and think they're buying a book on better sex.
Probably. Well, that's not exactly what the book's about, but no, I think it would be a very innocent mistake to make. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, the book is absolutely fascinating. How would you describe the book? I would describe the book as a technique for awakening your consciousness.
That's right. The important thing about it is that it's presenting this in a non-hierarchical way. And this is actually a very revolutionary thing, that the pursuit of awakening, the pursuit of wanting to know your true nature, wanting to know God, wanting to know the real nature of reality, has very often been available to us in a hierarchical way.
Yes.
That means we would go to find a teacher, an organization, we would find dogma, there'd be a holy book. You'd have to cooperate and fit in with something that was pre-existing, that was already laid out for you. Well, this is doing it in a very different way. Coaching is an anti-hierarchical method. So it means that when you work with a coach, the coach is encouraging you to find out what's true for you. The coach is encouraging you to dig deep into your own essence, into your own inquiry, and to find your way from there. So coaching actually is about discovering things from within you and then coming to conclusions from there, rather than following a dogma and trying to cooperate with the dogma.
Right, and this book is about people becoming what you called awakening coaching. And in the book John Gray, and many people will recognize John Gray's name from the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. In his I forget the promotion for the book, I forget the word right now, he said that it was a brilliant, highly readable, game-changing reboot for both professional coaching and spiritual awakening. So it really does both. It really is both. It's a book for spiritual awakening, but it's also a book for people who want to be awakening coaches. And I've read that you've trained over 1,300 people. It must be more by now.
1,600 now, yeah.
To be awakening coach. So let's describe what an awakening coach is to those who may not know what that means, please.
Yeah, well, an awakening coach, it's somebody is trained to facilitate with another person this recognition of being infinite, but also the embodiment of that recognition in day-to-day life. So the recognition of being infinite is what we mean by awakening, that you recognize your true nature beyond any limits. You recognize yourself to be limitless, to be infinite, to be love itself, to be the source of all creativity, but simultaneously we want to bring that forth so it becomes the place that you live from in sexuality, in parenting, in day-to-day life.
Okay, that's such a great distinction because, I even got this reading the book. It's so easy to talk about spiritual principles. And it's fun to talk about them actually, but to really embody them is a whole different ballpark. I mean, that's to live from that. One thing I really appreciated in the book, and you called it the open secret. You talk about the open secret. What is the open secret and why'd you call it that?
Yeah. The open secret is who you really are. That's the open secret, okay? In this moment right now, you can hear the sound of my voice. And that's not a big deal. You can hear the sound of my voice. You can see the movement of this space. Now there's nothing hidden about that. There's nothing esoteric about that. It's completely right here. You can hear the sound of my voice. You can see the movement of the shapes. You can feel sensations in your body. This is completely available to you already.
Okay.
But so that's right here. It's completely available. But what's the open secret element about that is when we explore what it is or who it is who is actually experiencing this moment, we discover that it's mysterious. It has no form. That which is experiencing form has no form. That which is hearing sounds is actually silent. So we discover that who you are, that which is meeting this moment, is unborn awareness. It was never born, it could never die, it's the solution to all problems. There is a story of a person in time who goes through struggles, but that's not what is experiencing this moment. What is experiencing this moment is already free, is already completely whole. And that recognition is the open secret. It's open because it's right here. It's already that which is experiencing. It's a secret because it requires investigation.
Wow, you're so articulate. That was so well-spoken and easy to understand of what you're speaking. So then awakening then is when we become conscious of this, what do you call it? Essence, power, what do you call it?
Well, I would say awakening means that you recognize your true nature as awareness. You recognize your true nature as limitless awareness, never born, never dying, empty of form but full of love. That is actually who you are, but it's not separate. It's not the separate story of a me going through life trying to get my own way. It is much bigger than that. It's the vast open space of consciousness, which is the same in everybody. That is actually your true nature.
I do a lot of celebration of life memorial services, and I actually talk about that. I talk about, that which looks through your eyes and hears with your ears and touches with your hand, that part of you that's limitless and is eternal. And I also talk about, the energy of love that keeps us connected as this essence, because life goes through many, many, many changes, but we're always connected in love. And so you wrote something that struck me in your book. You wrote a lot of things in here that struck me. I have a lot of check marks in my book. You wrote about the oneness hidden beneath separation. Could you talk about that? Like, what is separation, and what are you talking about, the oneness hidden beneath separation?
Yeah. So separation means that I experience my source of thoughts and feelings to be different from yours. So now we're two separate entities. Imagine as though we are sitting on either side of the Grand Canyon, right? So the Grand Canyon is between. Now, if I want to communicate with you, I can write on a piece of paper, I love you, and I can wrap it up, I can tie it to a rock, and I can throw it across the Grand Canyon. And it's going to arrive there, but maybe it's raining, so on the way it gets a little wet, so it gets all smudged. So you get this message and it says, I love you. And you go, what is love? I love, what what are you talking about? You write back, what are you talking about? And you throw it back, but in the meantime it gets wet, so it gets distorted. And that's how we actually communicate. Even if somebody's right in front of you, because we experience the source of thought and feeling to be separate, there's tremendous amount of miscommunication between people, which means that we fall into habits of manipulation, of control, of competition. The oneness hidden beneath separation means that I recognize who I really am, beyond my story, who I really am, is infinite consciousness, never born, never dying, eternally free, right?
Okay.
And that infinite consciousness, which is never born, never dying, eternally free, that is also who you are. It's the same infinite consciousness actually speaking with itself.
Wonderful. Well, you know what? I think that's a perfect time to stop and take a commercial break. And then we can talk more about this fantastic book, which is called Better Than Sex by Arjuna Ardagh. So stay tuned for more of Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am divine.
Hey there, welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm excited about this book. It's called Better Than Sex, and I'm excited about our guest, Arjuna Ardagh. Welcome back.
Hey, good to be back.
So, your book is basically about awakening coaching as well as spiritual waking. Tell us specifically, please, what is awakening coaching?
Well, awakening coaching is it's actually bringing together two things which don't usually coexist. Awakening means the recognition of your true nature as infinite. coaching is a very respectful relationship, which actually was born out of sports. You know, coaching 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the only context in which we heard the word coaching was in sports.
Yes.
But coaching is an anti-hierarchical relationship. It means the coach is not talking down to you, telling you could be like me. The coach is seeing your true potential and bringing that forward.
Wonderful, wonderful. And in your book, you have a section here where you have reasons for celebrating being a coach. Let's talk about that. Reason number one is that your coaching is respectful. Tell us more, please.
Well, it's respectful because coaching, it views all of the goodies as being within the client. You see, a teacher would say, I can teach you something you don't know, I know. A coach would say, you know already, you know in your essence, let's bring that forth. That's why it's respectful, because it's viewing the client as entirely resourceful.
That is so beautiful, because there's so many times people have an issue of power over, power under, and so it's a real space of freedom and equality, and to be acknowledged for the gifts within you and have somebody help you evoke them and bring them forth. That's beautiful. Then reason number two to celebrate coaching is that coaching is facilitating our evolution beyond the hierarchy. You were talking about being respectful. In just a moment you were talking about, and that's what I referred to as power over, is that there is no hierarchy. And in the book it says coaching is a collaborative relationship. It's not just my way or the highway. The coach must be able to share ideas and wisdom and a game plan and thoughts and strategies. I'm loving this a lot.
Great. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so coaching is a collaboration between the client and the coach, and they recognize that either one cannot exist without the other. They need each other to be able to co-create results.
And it says here, people become great not when someone tells them what to do, but when someone guides them to try out ideas that they can then coalesce into their own vision. I mean, talk about empowerment. You know, to evoke it from within is great. Now, reason number three is coaching is client-centered. Tell us more about that.
Well, I think we've already discussed it, but client-centered means that we see the origin of the process, the recognition of what gets in the way, the vision of what is possible, the intention, and also what to do about it. All of that is contained within the client. The coaching client may not be able to access that on their own, but the coach, a good coach, asks questions to bring that forth.
That's what I was looking for, to talk about that. They ask the right questions to bring it forth, and usually in a simple manner. And so the next one is coaching is not about dogma. Tell us more about that.
Right. Well, and I think this is particularly where coaching becomes interesting when we bring it to spiritual awakening. Because instead of referring to a holy book or a scripture and saying that's true, we've got to live that, we can forget all about holy books and scriptures. We can find out what is your essence tell you is true. If you drop into yourself, if you fall into that spacious consciousness, what do you know to be true from your own wakefulness? And then we can build a lifestyle around what you know to be the truth. You see, it's much more reliable to tap into what you know to be true from within yourself than to follow something that's dogmatic from the outside.
Right, and you have a much greater sense of authority and power when it's from that, in my experience. And so number 5 is coaching is solution-oriented.
Yeah, so we don't pathologize. A good coach does not pathologize. That's where it's different from some kinds of psychotherapy. We're not seeing you as broken or seeing you as needing something from the outside. Coaching actually views you as healthy and whole.
Love it. And this is really neat. Coaching is about play. That's number 6. Coaching is about play.
Yeah, so that means that you're participating in life not to win, not to get something more, not to get something over somebody else. You're participating in life out of playfulness. You're participating in life to contribute, to be part of the dance, to be part of the play.
So I think the most important point is that it's not, not someone telling you what to do, which in the past, like with athletic coaching, it's been that way. This is a collaborative technique where the coach is going to ask you questions to invoke from you the answers.
Yeah, and that's extremely effective. You know, when it's done well, that is extraordinarily effective. There's a sense of really waking up from a dream when you get in touch with these resources within yourself.
And so you write in the book that we are multi-dimensional beings. And you've said that people are beginning to view their true nature as limitlessness. How do you define being a multidimensional being?
Well, it means that when you say I, when you say I'm like this, I'm like that, I want this, the I does not refer to one thing. There are different dimensions of the I. So the I, when you say I, it can refer to this infinite consciousness which was never born, which could never die, which is really what we mean by God. You know, that is actually who you really are. Another dimension is your past, you know, is your brokenness, is your woundedness. Another dimension of you is your body, where you're purely a physical entity. Another dimension of you is your unique gift. There are many dimensions which you can tap into. They are all equally you, but it's almost like it's different floors in an elevator. You can get off at different floors, and there's a different reality on each floor. But it's all part of who you are. It's just different dimensions you can access of who you are.
I think for me the most exciting thing in the book was to read about my innate brilliance. Just the word itself, brilliance, just evokes such a feeling of light and resilience and rippling out joy. You talk about 7 innate brilliances, so we all have them. And the first one is inspired certainty. When I first read that, before reading it, inspired certainty, because I know there's so many questions. We constantly have questions. Often we ask questions, usually negative ones, you know, why did this happen to me? What's wrong? And so I wasn't sure how certain most people are. But then I read about inspired certainty. Tell us more what that means, please.
Yeah, what we mean by inspired certainty in the context of being a good awakening coach, it means that you have enough of a recognition of your true nature that it's absolutely clear that there is a story in time of a person who was born and who will die, but there's enough of a recognition that just under that story there is this infinite consciousness which cannot die, which was never born, which is completely at peace. And the more you know that that's who you really are, the more you naturally know that that is who your coaching client is as well.
In the book, you, in the italics part, you give examples of dialogue between a coach and a client. And I like the part where you talk about asking powerful questions, because I think questions are really key to living a peaceful and a joyful life, is to continuing asking positive questions. And in the example in the book, it really took someone on a journey to great clarity and understanding by looking at, you know, what does this feel like? What is, you know, what do you mean? What does it feel like? Do you feel it in your body? And you said there was hundreds of questions that coaches can bring to clients to guide them from being caught up in their thoughts and beliefs, and to have an open and spacious consciousness. Explain that more. I mean, we all know what it means to be caught up in your thought. You know, it's like monkey mind. But when you get out of that, what's the prize on the other side?
Well, the prize is being present, Janine. You see, being present is probably the greatest fulfillment, but it's also the greatest gift you can bring to anybody else. For example, if you're with your children or with your partner, when you're really present, that's actually more important than anything you say or do. So the prize on the other side, as you said, the prize on the other side of being caught up in your thoughts is that you really show up and you're really present for what is right here.
In the now moment, not concerned about the past or the future, or worried about this and that. Your total attention is on where you are in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually where you live. The present moment is where you always live. Sometimes you live in the present moment with thoughts about something else, but you're still actually living in the present moment. The body, this physical body never leaves the present moment, you see. It's where you live. It's your home, the present moment.
You said in the book to be an inspired awakened coach, someone who's going to be inspired towards another. We're in this section you're talking, this section is inspired certainty. I love this. You said that this coach would know what is possible and that you so clearly see the hidden brilliance in another person that just seeing of it brings it forth. That's really beautiful.
Well, I'm sure you know that as a minister, that when you see somebody's beauty, they become more beautiful. And it's like a game of peekaboo. You know, when you say, peekaboo, I see you, you're beautiful, they light up in that moment. You see, that's what love means. Love means to say, peekaboo, I see how beautiful you are.
Exactly. I like that. The second quality of a coach who is, an awakened coach is absolute presence. Now, you just alluded to that. Talk about that.
Well, absolute presence is not something that we need to fall into sometimes and lose sometimes. Absolute presence is actually something that can be cultivated through practice. So we can learn how to become absolutely present. And there's a particular method we use that comes from Tibet. It's called Tonglen. And Tonglen is the practice of giving and receiving with the breath, so that instead of observing another person, you absorb their thoughts and feelings and body sensations, not into yourself, but through the window of the heart into infinite consciousness. And then you send a wave of blessing from out of yourself. By learning to give and receive with the breath, you become absolutely present.
You know, I never knew the way you articulated it, but I've taught that with people when I work with people who are going through mourning. And I'll say to them, you can actually breathe for another. And I would explain to them a technique similar to that, a breathing technique, and then how to think specifically. So I think that's just beautiful, because the power of being in the present moment and being willing to love someone who's in such egregious pain and really offer them support in that technique is so beautiful. It's like one of the most amazing gifts that you can give to someone is that. Yay! All right. So in this coaching section, you spoke again then is radical awakening. Radical awakening.
Yeah. Radical awakening means that a good coach knows how to guide somebody into a recognition of their true nature as infinite in 10 minutes or less, you see? Now, this has been considered historically to be impossible, that you need 20, 30 years of practice. But that's the way that I like to say it is, this can be easy or difficult depending on your preference. If you prefer difficult, it can be difficult. If you prefer easy, it can be easy. Personally, I prefer easy, so we do the easy way. And the easy way means to guide someone into a recognition of who they really are, a recognition of your true nature beyond birth and death. Your true nature is limitless consciousness in 10 minutes or less, to guide someone into that recognition.
That is just absolutely sensational. And everything about this is so easy. I really admire that. Reading the book is light and easy, and this whole expression, there's something about your book. Did you sort of energetically put some love energy in something? Because I can really feel something when I read it.
Maybe Amazon did that.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a brief commercial break, and we'll be back in just a moment with more of Spirituality Rocks. Maybe Amazon.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this. You'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
You're watching Spirituality Rocks. I'm with Arjuna Ardagh and talking about his most recent book called Better Than Sex, which is about awakening coaching. I want to just address radical releasing. This is one of the brilliances. Tell us about what that means.
Yeah, sure. Well, radical releasing means once you have a recognition of your true nature, you recognize that there are all kinds of habits which crop up, which are actually habits of resistance, because we can ask ourselves, what is it that gets in the way of just living in this spacious, free, open state? And actually, we discover what really gets in the way is not thoughts or feelings or events. What gets in the way is just resistance. When you're in resistance to something, you create a split within yourself. But when you're not in resistance, you're in an open flow. So radical releasing is not a way to get rid of any thoughts or feelings. It's a way to simply dissolve resistance. So, for example, let's take the thought, I'm not good enough, right? Most people would say I'm not good enough is a negative thought. You don't want to have that thought. But actually, there's nothing wrong with the feeling I'm not good enough. It's only the mixture of I'm not good enough with no, I don't want to feel that. That's what creates the tension and the suffering, you see?
Yes.
So radical releasing is a way to relax that resistance so that things can flow easily on their own.
Mm-hmm. And you do, in the book, give some technique and principles which people can read. So the website is, and we have a banner up on the screen, the website is amazing. It is your name, Arjuna Ardagh, and that's ARJUNAARDAGH.com. And so it talks a lot about being an awakening coach. Let's talk about being coached. Let's address that as well, please.
Sure. Well, a good candidate for awakening coaching is somebody who really has got a little bit tired of their own personal story. They've kind of got bored of working on themselves, and they have a feeling of a gift that wants to give itself through you. There's a feeling of enough of me and my stuff. I want to actually make a difference. And then awakening coaching is a great way to let you connect to that infinite dimension of yourself, to free up all of the habits that get you caught up in your story again, and to let that gift flow freely through you into the world. And that's what we're really good at, is empowering people to make a huge contribution to the world.
Well, then what are the qualities that would make someone be a good coach?
The qualities that will make somebody be a good coach are if you care about people, if you love people, if you really like to see people thrive, if you enjoy to see people give their gifts and thrive in the world, that would make you a fantastic coach.
And in the book, you also talked about curiosity.
Yeah, that's also very, very good, that you, instead of wanting to teach people things, you actually become curious about what they already know. You have more interest in finding out what's already there than trying to change somebody to fit your agenda. Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. And how about the idea of courage? It takes courage to be an awakened coach.
Well, it takes courage to not know, you see. It's actually much more comfortable to think you know something than to acknowledge that you don't know something, you see. So it takes courage to show up innocent. It takes courage to show up without an agenda. You're more vulnerable then. You're more shaky.
Indeed, indeed. Hello. You've written a lot of books and a lot of...
I've written 8 books.
8 books. And was the Translucent Revolution the one that was featured on Oprah Winfrey Show?
It was featured in O Magazine, not her TV show, but in the magazine.
Oh, the magazine. Wonderful. And what I did not read it. Can you tell us more about that article? What did they focus upon?
In O Magazine, I don't remember now. They put an excerpt from the book. I don't remember what it was. But the Translucent Revolution is it's a very kind of thoroughly researched documentation of people who have touched into that kind of awakening and for whom it has impacted their day-to-day life. So it talks about translucent business, translucent art, translucent religion. It actually features Mary Manning Morrissey, who is a New Thought minister.
Oh, yes, I know Mary. Sure. So that features her in that book. Okay.
Yes.
And now The Last Laugh. You wrote the book called The Last Laugh. That, I believe, is a novel.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's a book. It's a kind of, actually, it's humorous. I like to tell people it may not be Tolstoy, but I guarantee it will make you laugh. So it's a humorous look at the world of spirituality and seeking. Often we take ourselves so seriously. I think you mentioned that to me when we were just getting ready to start, that often these subjects get so serious and heavy, and The Last Laugh gives you an opportunity to really have a good laugh about all of it.
Yeah, there's something about the way you write that's conversational and the everyday vernacular that you use that I think adds to that and supports that, because I feel like I'm chatting more with a friend reading your book rather than taking a course and trying to figure things out. I love that, the way you write.
You know, it's a funny thing, Janine. I mean, I'm 58 years old. And I studied literature at Cambridge University a long time ago. So I've been involved in the writing world for about 40 years. And I can tell you it's much more difficult to write a book that feels conversational than it is to write a book that feels didactic. It actually, it's taken me all this time to learn how to write in a way that feels conversational. It takes quite a while of shedding habits until it feels flowing and easy.
And that's it, flowing and easy. Remember before I said there's a lightness about your book? It's because it's flowing and it's easy. It's easy to read and it flows, and that's exactly why. I want to just look at your other things here. You have Relaxing into Clear Seeing, which are interactive tools in the service of self-awakening, and Awakening into Oneness, the Power of Blessing in the Evolution of Consciousness. What did I leave out?
I wrote some other books. I wrote a book called How About Now?
Okay.
Let me try to remember. There's a book called Leap Before You Look, which is a book of practices. I wrote a book called Keep Quiet, that was a book about my teacher in India. And there's also another one called The Deeper Love. Some of these are no longer in print, though. That's maybe why you're not seeing them.
Right. That sounds like a beautiful title. We have another commercial break coming soon, but I do want to look at the coach midwives your unique gifts.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That sounds good.
Awesome. Go for it.
Oh, you want to talk about it now? Yeah. Well, everybody on the planet, has a unique thumbprint, right? Everybody on the planet has a unique thumbprint. And it's not just that your thumbprint is different from everybody else who's alive. Your thumbprint is different from anybody who has ever lived, right? It's completely and utterly unique. So, also your face, you know. I mean, I'm sure people confuse you a lot with Angelina Jolie, but if we actually put you and Angelina Jolie next to each other, there would be a lot of similarity, but if we look carefully, we'd be able to see the difference.
Right.
So you have a unique thumbprint and a unique face. You don't look like anybody else on the planet. Well, in just the same way, you also have a unique gift, a unique energy, a unique vibration, a unique atmosphere that wants to be given through you into the world. When you discover that unique gift, that is actually the key to ultimate fulfillment. That is the key to being happy without any conditions.
Gosh, what a great place to be, right? No demands, no conditions. That's great. You know, the book is really comprehensive and it's thorough. You talk about specific applications. There's a lot of stuff in here about relationships as well. But what I'd like to do is take our last commercial break and then come back. And I'd like to talk more about the website, how to navigate the website, and how people can find out more about either being coached or becoming an awakened coach. So stay tuned for more of Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do dogs chase cats?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Could switch...
Time to make the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh. I made the donuts. We make them at least twice every day. Time to make the donuts. Not a few kinds, like supermarket. Made the donuts. Time to make the donuts. But up to 52 varieties. The donuts. Time to make the donuts. I made the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, up to 52 varieties, fresh day and night. No supermarket can say.
Welcome back. We are with Arjuna Ardagh. He's written many, many books. The one we're looking at today is called Better Than Sex. It's about being an awakening coach. Well, I want to talk about the website. You can go to arjunaardagh.com and check out more of his work. And if you see there, he's got a blog. He's got lots of information that you can read. Talk to us about navigating the site a little bit, about being a coach, taking coaching training, because there's actually training that you can sign up for on the website.
Yeah, that's right. So there's actually, if you go to my site, arjunaardagh.com, you'll find there's a 5-day mini course you can take. And that actually will introduce you to everything about what we do. It'll introduce you to coaching and to the different books I've written and to the novel and everything. So
I want to point out to people that if they sign up for that, there's no charge to that.
That's free.
I love
and
that.
then we have another website as well, which is awakeningcoachingtraining.com. Easy to remember, awakeningcoachingtraining.com. And that also has a 5-day mini course that introduces you to the different steps of awakening coaching.
Fantastic. And what were the 2 courses that I saw on the Arjuna Ardagh website that you could take? One was about deepening love.
Yeah, that one's actually not available right now. We don't have any active online course at the moment, but in the fullness of time, we have the Deeper Love and Living Awakening, but they're both under reconstruction at the moment.
Oh, okay, good. Renewal, revitalization. That's a good thing.
Yes.
And so what do people, what is the course like to become an awakening coach? Can you do it on the internet? Is it done as a webinar?
You can take it online. It's 16 weeks, and you do 2 hours a week for 16 weeks. You also get access to a member's website where there's video and audio and workbook pages. So it's very thoroughly presented. It's a very thorough, pragmatic course. So you can learn all of the basic skills of awakening coaching in 16 weeks.
That's fantastic. And is there a final course? Is there a certification?
Yes, there is. We have actually, altogether, we have 6 courses. And after you've taken 3 of them, you get your certification, yes.
So what is that 16-week course? That's the first aspect?
That's called the Basic Skills course. It's where you learn the basic building blocks of how to coach.
Okay, and then there's 5 other courses subsequent to that.
Yeah, different courses you can take. One is called Client Interaction, and it's about how to actually build a relationship with a client. One is called Deeper Love Coaching. It's about how to coach intimate relationships. One is called Honest Marketing, about how to present yourself to the world as a coach. We have many different courses that people can take.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so then there's sequential. It's a systematic study for the awakening coaching. Now, what if someone wants to be coached rather than become a coach? What do they do?
Come to the website. Come to my website, arjunaardagh.com, and there's information there about how I can coach you.
Okay, fantastic. What I have to do is shift gears. We have a few minutes left here. You're coming out with a new book.
Yes.
And written with John Gray, who wrote Men from Mars, Women from Venus. What's the name of your new book?
Conscious Men. It's about conscious masculinity. It's what it means to be a man, where your masculinity is not just driven by conditioned forces of your family, your society, your biology, but your masculinity is actually a consciously given gift, which means you can show up as a man in a conscious, deliberate way, and your masculinity somehow has some awareness behind it. So, for example, instead of being violent because you're running on testosterone, you can become powerful because you've transmuted that violence into power. Instead of being horny because you're running on hormones, you can become loving, and you can give your love through your body, but as a gift instead of trying to get something. So we define 12 attributes of conscious masculinity, a man who is showing up in the world as a consciously given gift of art.
Wow, that sounds like a bestseller right there.
Hope so.
I think so. Conscious Man, because I think the time is right for a book like that.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, wonderful. Do you delve into the book about men dealing with emotions and
Yeah.
So I think
we talk about feelings. Yeah, you know, men naturally are not as much in touch with feelings as women are.
Yes.
Right? It's to do with biology. Men are more focused on getting a job done in time, on focusing on an outcome. Women are more attuned to their feelings. So we actually make the point that if a man cuts off his feelings, he ends up doing things and saying things that are insensitive. So if a man is not aware of his feelings, he can become actually an abusive or a violent man. But if a man indulges his feelings too much, he becomes feminized, and then he becomes a kind of a man with no center and no direction anymore. So the qualities that we encourage in the book and the practices we teach are to be able to feel your feelings without being taken over by them. So you're aware of what you're feeling, but your sense of presence and gifting is always bigger than whatever feeling is there.
That's wonderful, because, you know, a lot of women complain about men that they don't seem to have any feelings or don't know how to articulate or express them.
Well, there's an interesting thing, you know, that John Gray, of course, has worked with hundreds of thousands of people, and I have as well. What we both discovered is women say that they want their husbands to talk about their feelings,
yes.
Right? Oh, you should talk more about your feelings. But when a man does finally break down and talk about his feelings, women lose interest. They lose respect for the man. So it's a kind of a strange thing that often what women say they want from men, when they get it, it's not actually very satisfying. And similarly the other way, men say they want something from a woman. For example, a man would say, I want you to be really sexually available. I want you to take off your clothes and spread your legs. But actually when a woman does that, he loses respect for the woman. So what men and women think they want from each other is not actually what really nourishes them. What really is important is for a woman to discover the essence of her true feminine nature, for a man to discover the essence of his real masculinity and to give that as a gift. That's actually how the dance really happens, not through each gender putting their demand on each other, but through each gender discovering the authentic gift they have to give and giving that with confidence and with generosity.
Oh boy, no need to put a cherry on top of that. You just did. That's really sweet. That's very, very nice. And so, are you traveling around now speaking and giving workshops or seminar? How can we get a piece of you besides reading your books?
Well, you could invite me to wherever you are. Where do you live? You're in Florida, right?
Oh, no, darling. I'm on Long Island, New York.
Well, give me a date. I'll be there. I like to travel. I'm going to be teaching this summer in Europe, and I do have some events scheduled coming up in California, in Southern California, and I don't know exactly the schedule, but we have different events coming up.
Yeah, we one time I'm with the Affiliated New Thought Network, and we just took a cruise down to Cozumel, cruising in consciousness. Our guest speaker was the Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen. She is the newly elected president of the Universal Foundation for Better Living, which I'm sure you recognize. It was founded by Dr. Johnny Coleman, and then Mary Tumpkin was the president. So she was our speaker. But you, years ago, when we were at the Franciscan Renewal Center over in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona.
I was a speaker, yeah.
Yeah, we enjoyed you tremendously. You were just great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we have about 3 minutes left to airtime. So in those 3 minutes, I would like to, well, I'm getting a signal 5, but it usually takes a couple of minutes for our, whatever those things are. At the end, I love to give information so that people can do some self-exploration. What spiritual truth or idea have you been focusing upon lately, personally? Where has your attention been flowing in your personal time when you're not teaching and writing books and all? What thoughts have been spinning around in your brain?
Well, two things. I think one thing that is very strong for me is gratitude. I really have a life that I could not possibly even have imagined. I'm married to a really, really extraordinary woman who's beautiful in every possible way. I have 2 children who've worked out beautifully. I mean, they just are fabulous human beings. One of them works with me in the Awakening Coaching Company. I've got great students. I'm in good health. I live in a fabulous house. So I really feel incredibly grateful. And I think the natural result of being just flooded with gratitude is giving. You know, the only logical extension of gratitude is to give your gift in the world. And so I realize that for me, it's not about money. It's not about fame. It's really what is fulfilling, what is most deeply fulfilling is being able to impact other people in a way that allows them to connect with their true nature and live from there. So I feel privileged to be able to serve people.
And, I think you do it in your particular way, but I really believe that just a life of service and however you can give. I mean, whether you're helping your next door neighbor or giving a child some extra time, any way that you can give, to bless, empower, support, uplift others is just the only rewarding thing in life. I guess it's really true love. You are loving when you're doing that. Yeah, that's great.
I agree.
So tell me, what message would you like to give the viewing audience that could inspire them, not just to be an awakened coach or to be coach, but just could, in general, what idea comes into your mind that you'd like to tell people? You have about a minute.
Well, I think the most important thing is to really, 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 really get curious about who you really are.
Okay.
To really get curious, to go deeper than your story, deeper than your history, deeper than your past, to really get curious about who are you as the one experiencing this moment. Who are you as the one who is hearing and seeing and feeling? What is that? What is your true nature that is meeting this moment? That curiosity will set you free.
That's absolutely beautiful. Arjuna Ardagh, thank you so much for joining us on Spirituality Rocks. I'd like to tell everybody to check you out, not only on your website at Arjuna Ardagh, and that's ARJUNAARDAGH.com, but to also go to Amazon. Better Than Sex is the book about awakening coaching, but if you want to read a novel, what was the name of the novel? That Hay House...
The Last Laugh.
Yeah,
in America, you say the last laugh.
The Last
The
Laugh.
Last Laugh, honey. That's the name of the novel.
Okay, so if you want some giggles and you want to uplift your spirit, check out that book. In the meantime, go to the website, find out more, and I promise you, just connecting is going to make you feel better and really empower you on your spiritual journey. So I bless you, I appreciate you, and I sincerely thank you for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you.
Awesome. Alrighty, don't forget next week, check out our show next week. Like us on Facebook, and I'd like to give a shout out to Victoria Mealy and Tommy Marr and those at the Madhouse TV studio who make this show possible, because the show does empower and uplift and really support people in their spiritual growth and development. Thank you so much. This is Janine Burns signing off for this episode of Spirituality Rocks.